Hi, my name is Ben, and today I'm going to be cooking the fried rice from the Food Bank meal pack. So to start the fried rice, we have to obviously cook the rice first. If you do have some leftover rice from another recipe, you can just use that in this recipe. But today I'm going to go through how to cook the rice and go through the entire steps. So first and foremost is I'm going to bring up 4.5 cups of water to the boil, and I've got about 3 teaspoons of salt in there too. So while that water comes up to a boil, I've got 3 cups of white rice that comes in the meal kit. With that, you kind of want to run it under cold water in a sieve until the water comes out clear. The reason for that is to remove the excess starch from the rice. If you've ever had your rice kind of go gluggy or gluey, that's because the starch might have still been in there, and it's kind of makes it that gluey texture, which isn't very good. So my water's come to a nice boil, and I'm just going to pop that rice in there straight away. And then pop that lid back on, and then just make sure it's still boiling. So we're going to boil that on not too vigorous, but for about 10 minutes or so. Now, while the rice is cooking, it's best to kind of prepare everything else that goes into this meal pack. So with that, we've got some peas that we've drained, some corn that we've drained as well, and then we're going to also have 2 carrots and an onion in there. I'm just going to quickly show you how to kind of cut up an onion and carrot the way I do it. Everyone cuts things differently. Honestly, with cutting, like real chefs do it a lot better. I'm not a real chef, I'm a cook, and I cut it a cook's way. There's definitely people who do it better, faster, more perfect, but it's really just kind of how you're comfortable cooking with it. So cutting an onion, obviously cut it in half and then peel it. And then I'm just going to make some incisions across, down, and then kind of dice it like that way. So I'm just going to do about 4 and trying not to go all the way down. And then same with here, try to do your best not to go all the way down the onion. Just go to kind of almost to the end, just so it sticks together a little bit more. And then you can kind of do the chef way if you hold it like that, so you can run your knife along your fingers. I don't do that all the time. I only do it when I'm really fastly chopping. So you can just kind of hold it and obviously just be careful not to chop your fingers is the most important bit. And that little bit there, just switch it over to the side and then go down like that. And yeah, that'll be kind of nicely chopped. It's not perfect. Professional kitchens, I'd probably get in a bit of trouble for that. It's not a professional kitchen, it's your home kitchen. It's kind of whatever way you're most comfortable cutting things. With chopping the carrot, first and foremost, you want to just nice and carefully make yourself a nice flat base. And that's just so it's not going to move around. So the onion already had that when it was chopped in half. If you try and cut a carrot like this, it's just going to be dangerous. So you just want that nice flat edge, and just pop that on your board. Pop that to the side. It's the same thing, it's going to kind of go all the way down. Now with carrots it's a little bit hard, depends on your knife. If you're not super comfortable, just do it in 2 halves is the kind of easier way to do it. So just chop it down there and then just do it down, down again. But if your knife's kind of sharp enough, it should go okay. Keyword being should. Right, so I've got it like that, kind of in 3 sections. With the carrot, it's going to be a little bit more chunky than the onion, just because I like that texture in the fried rice personally. So then kind of just go down. And then we've got kind of nice batons. I'm going to do that with that little front bit as well. It's the exact same. Pop that all together. And then just the exact same technique. Again, if you're comfortable doing the chef's hold, which is the crab claw, look, that's the safest way to do it. If you're not comfortable do it, just do it whatever way kind of you've learned how to cook really. If you haven't learned how to cook before, the chef's hold that I'm talking about, it's like that. hold everything together, and then you're just running down your knife down this little bit of your hand, nice and flat, so you're never going to cut yourself. Right, next bit with the fried rice is some eggs. So just quickly with the eggs, best thing to do with cracking an egg is to crack it on your bench, and then just use your fingers, both your thumbs, I find it easiest. Just kind of pop them open, and that way you're not going to get any shells in. And then storing eggs like that, just back in, and then I just put them back into the little kind of egg container before putting them into the bin. Just going to quickly whisk them up with a fork. To start it, just kind of break up all the yolks, and that'll just make it mix a little bit easier. With cooking eggs, never salt your eggs until they're already in the pan or they've already experienced some heat. The reason for that is as soon as you add salt to anything like eggs, you're actually going to change the nature of them. Because eggs have a lot of protein, salt reacts with the protein, and then we'll kind of make them a bit tougher in the end product. So I'm going to start cooking my eggs and vegetables for the fried rice. I'm using an electric fry pan today. You can use a wok, you can use a normal fry pan, you can use whatever you've got at home. Really, it's just kind of using different implements just to show you that it's possible to cook these kind of things in anything that you've got at home. So kind of on a medium-low heat, I'm just going to put about 2 teaspoons of oil there. So my oil's nice and warm in there. You don't want it too hot, just because you don't want to burn the eggs. So we'll kind of give it a little swirl around, and then we're just going to drop those 3 eggs that we've whisked up straight in. With kind of scrambling these eggs, kind of Asian style for stir fry, you just kind of want to cook it nice and quickly. So it's kind of like in between, kind of like an almost omelette style / scrambled egg style. So I'm just going to pop that in and let it sit for just 1 minute. And then just break it up. That's done. Nice and set kind of yolk and protein. Pretty simple. You can also, if you want to be specky and you've got a nice big fry pan like this, you can just kind of put it all down, let it cook on a nice low heat, and then roll it up, and then chop it nice and fine. That's how they kind of do it at the fancy Chinese restaurants and takeaway places, and that will give you more of a kind of exact texture throughout with the eggs. I mean, for home cooking, I'm perfectly happy with that personally. Right, put that to the side. And to that, I'm just going to add a little bit more oil, drop down the heat a little bit, and then I'm just going to start cooking off my onions and carrots. So these vegetables are looking good. Look, there's a little bit of burnt bits. Cooking an electric fry pan is always interesting. But look, it's just going to add to the flavour. It's not too bad. Get a bit distracted, you know, you've got a few things going on, doing the rice, got the kids at home, stuff like that. Look, food's about having a bit of fun and just continuing through. So, with that one done, I'm going to add the peas, the corn, into that and just give it a quick stir. Then increase the heat a little bit so it's not too low, and then also going to add the rice into that as well that's been cooked and giving it a quick fluff with a fork. So what I mean by fluffing the rice is just kind of separating it through with all the grains. And then just give that a nice stir through as well. With this recipe as well, this is actually a vegetarian recipe. You know, the possibilities are kind of endless of what you could add to this. Fried rice is so versatile. So many vegetables you can add. Zucchini, broccoli, cauliflower, lots of the canned vegetables, and then lots of proteins as well, you know. Meat, fish, pretty much anything. Like if you just sear off a bit of chicken, and you can just cut that up and add it through as well. Super simple. With that too, I'm going to add a stock cube, crumbled up, just for a bit of flavour. Again, there's so much you can add for this kind of flavouring bit. You can be really traditional, you know, soy sauce, oyster sauce, if you've got any of those at home, are going to work really, really well. Yeah, you know, Shaoxing vinegar, so much stuff you can add just to add a little bit more flavour and kind of boost it up. And then change it if you've cooked it already during the week, during the month, just so it's a little bit different for yourself. So let's turn that off. Get a plate. And there's the meal kit for fried rice.
This has been a Cabana
production.